It's the Real Talk Mosh Pit with Aaron and Steve. That music, it gets you going.
It does, yeah. Good times. Our hair is a little shorter than it was back in the 80s.
Yeah, we can't really headbang all that great. It doesn't have the same effect.
But with this light, it really illuminates our white hair and makes.
We've got the light that really lights things up here in the studio, and it just makes our white hair and I got a little bit of hair, but not much.
Keeping it real.
We're keeping it real. I'm keeping it short.
And today we are not going to talk about hair.
No, because last time, man, it got kind of weird in here. Awkward.
Well, we're gonna talk about relationships a little bit more.
All right.
If you didn't catch our segment from last week, you may want to catch back up on that.
Go back.
I introduced a topic that I've been preaching about in our church. I'm a pastor up in Wellman at New Life Church. So if you live up in that area, come check us out. Join us. We're a pretty laid-back group of people, so we'd love to have you visit us at New Life in the Parkside Activity Center. 10 o'clock in the morning is our meeting time. But I love relationships. I love helping people connect with each other and have valuable friendships. And I'm a romantic at heart.
Yeah.
And so I like to teach on marriage and how to have a positive marriage. So we were picking up on that theme and talking about the spicy book in the Bible, which is the Song of Songs, and how there's spicy.
It's rated spicy.
Yeah, rated spicy.
Rated S for spicy.
Would you say it's PG-13 or maybe just PG?
Oh, it's a PG.
Yeah, it's about a PG, but it is about romance and sexuality and stuff like that. So,
and yeah, you kind of have to read between the lines on some things, but
when you start reading in between the lines, you're like, whoa, this is in the Bible? All right. So I was preaching on that and thinking about the idea of in marriage, we just imagine having a door in your heart, and your spouse kind of wants to get in and hang out with you in that heart space. And so they come and knock on the door. Which hand is it that people? Okay, so we knock on each other's door, and do we open the door? Like, let's say. You just ask a spouse for whatever you need, whether it's a romantic interlude or some emotional connection or date night or whatever it is. Everything that we do in our relationships could be thought of as knocking on the door to see if the other person will respond and receive us and be nice to us. Like, that's kind of what I hope when I approach my wife. I hope that she'll be nice to me. So I've got a story, Steve, about knocking on doors.
I like stories.
Okay, well here's a story.
I'm a big fan of door knocking stories. Lan, how did you know?
Just we've been friends for a while, so I figured you like this kind of tale. All right.
Knock knock.
So some years ago, and I'm not gonna say names or what town I was in, or so sometime in the past. I was part of a church, and we wanted to do some outreach, get out in our community, meet some people, invite them. What we did is we made a bunch of fresh-baked cookies, because who doesn't like cookies?
Yeah.
Fresh-baked, homemade. We're not talking about that Walmart sugar cookie thing,
Those are tasty.
Those are actually pretty tasty. Maybe we should have just done that. But we had fresh-baked cookies. And we were going out on Sunday morning and knocking on people's doors to say, hey, we're from a local church. Just wanted to give you some cookies and ask you if we could pray for you. And some people...
Sounds nice.
Yeah. And some people would say, thanks for the cookies. No, I guess you don't need to pray for me. Well, that's fine. Take the cookies. Be happy. Some people would say, sure, pray for me. I got a sick uncle or whatever. So we pray with people, leave the cookies with them. Away we go.
Yep.
Well, we got to this one house, and the people answered the door, and we said, we're from a local church, and they said, right away, we already have a church. Oh, well, great. Would you like us to pray for you? No.
Get away.
No. I'm like, Okay, well, we don't have to pray for you, but would you like the cookies? No, and don't come back. We don't want your cookies. We already have a church. And somebody's like, well, you don't have to come to our church. The cookies are free. It's just they're get out of our yard, you sulfur-reeking spawn of Satan. They didn't actually say that, but like you got that vibe.
Yeah.
The weird experience, and we went away from that house, and we had people's addresses written down because we were taking notes, like who wanted us to come back and who wanted to be prayed for, and we wrote down, do not knock at such and such an address. Do not knock.
Wonder how they treat trick-or-treaters.
Wow. I don't know. I just imagine, was it Ed McMahon that did the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes?
Yeah. Coming up with balloons and the big check.
We already have money. Go away.
And we don't like balloons. Pop.
Oh, man. So that...
I want to clarify. Now, were you like trying to force your way into their house? Did you have like little pamphlets, and were you being weird at all or being confrontational?
Not confrontational. It is weird when somebody comes and knocks on your door.
Yeah.
I understand that. Especially those of us who live in Iowa, we get politicians knocking on our doors. I think about January 5th, the first time that Barack Obama ran for president. A young man from Florida knocked on my door. We had 6 inches of snow on the ground. And I asked him if he needed anything to eat or drink because I figured he's probably miserable out there in the cold, and found out he was from Florida. So we get that sometimes. People knock on our doors, and it is a little weird. But we were trying really hard to not be weird. And also, who doesn't like cookies?
Yeah. Just take the cookies. Please take the cookies.
There was a point to this story.
Throwing the cookies out.
The first point is, and I should say too, I don't like Christmas caroling.
All right, yeah.
Because the only thing weirder than having somebody knock on your door to give you cookies is having somebody knock on your door to sing 300 old songs to you.
And what are you supposed to do?
See, what you're supposed to do is stand there with your door open in the middle of winter and listen to people sing songs.
I've never thought of it that way.
Have you ever gone Christmas caroling? I haven't gone since I was a youth, and I had to.
You haven't gone since you went to that person's house.
I haven't gone to anybody's house since then. Oh, man. So, yeah, it is weird to knock on a stranger's door.
Sure.
And it's weird when a stranger knocks on my door. But, man, here's what I got to thinking. Here was the point that we were kind of getting at this whole time. Right. What if the people in my life, like maybe my wife or my kids, come to knock on the door of my heart?
Okay.
My wife needs some time to connect with me. My kids want to hear a bedtime story. My friends want to talk to me about a problem that they have. Mm-hmm. If approaching me is like knocking on my door, are there any things that I do that make other people like, don't go back to that address? Yeah. Don't talk to that guy about your problems.
Yeah. Don't
talk to that guy if you need help. Yeah. Is there anything that I'm doing like that? And if there is, maybe I need to make a change in my life, because I want to be easy to be married to. That's what I was saying in my sermon a couple of weeks ago. I want to be easy to be married to. I want to be easy to have as a dad. I want to be easy to have as a friend. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be approachable to those that love you.
Yeah.
And not scare them away. Or, what if somebody, approaches you when you're not in the best of mood and you kind of blow up at them, yeah, like you said, they're probably going to write it down on the list in their brain. Don't approach him about that or much of anything ever again.
Don't talk to Dad when he's watching Netflix.
Or Iowa football.
Yeah, are there any things that you do while watching Iowa football that make you difficult to approach, Steve?
I'll use my dogs as an example. It's been both. I've been angry, and I've kind of yelled in anger at the TV, and I've also, exploded with joy and become quite vocal. But my dogs, when I get a football or a basketball game on and I start making some noise, they tend to look at me like their eyes get big, and then they start kind of slowly creeping away. That might have been from a bad experience. I've never done anything bad to the dogs, but I've yelled at anger at the TV. So, we laugh about it, but it probably has scarred their little dog hearts from when I was angry at the Iowa Hawkeyes, and it made me unapproachable to them.
And let me finish with a true story about watching Hawkeye football with Steve. Do you remember the Big Ten championship game, Iowa and Michigan State? Steve is laughing because he remembers already. So Steve had a bunch of friends over, and I forget the lady's name. Sherry. Super sweet lady, and she was sitting next to me on the sofa. And if you remember that game, what the final score was, 15-12.
It was close,
And Iowa was. It was just close. It was a slobber.
Michigan State went on a drive for about 10 minutes to end the game, and they won the game.
But I think it was in the third quarter, and things were really getting intense. And so poor Sherry, this sweet lady, sitting next to me, and she knows that I'm a pastor, and so there's sort of a level of expectation about calm and dignity and respectability that sometimes I don't live up to. But so Sherry's sitting next to me, and the game's getting really intense. And a Michigan State guy had the ball, and he was running towards the sideline. And you see this Iowa linebacker flying towards the Michigan State guy. And I came up out of my chair and screamed, "Punish him!"
And her eyes went from normal to...
And then this is a sobering lesson. For the rest of the game, every time I'd kind of look over to my side a little bit over at Sherry, and I could see her. She didn't want to look directly at me, but she keeps sneaking these glances over at me. Like, is this person safe? Is this person a psycho?
She kept replaying, "Punish him."
And I don't even know where that came from. Like,
somewhere deep within.
Somewhere deep within, there was a part of my heart that Jesus hadn't dealt with yet.
That Michigan State's part.
So, yeah, maybe we're close to wrapping up here on that thought. Sometimes you let out the monster, and the people around you look at you sideways for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So if you've done that in a relationship, maybe it's time to go back and apologize and make things right and keep working on that. But yeah, message for the day, wrapping up with this thought: be an easy person to be married to. Be an easy person to be a friend to, and have an open door in your heart. And I think that's all we got for now, Steve. But this has been real, and it's been good, and it's been real good. So,
and if you've ever scared somebody at a football get-together, just go back and apologize to them. Just say, "I'm sorry for scaring you."
And Sherry, if you're out there watching Real Talk with Steve, I apologize to you too, and I'm working on it.
There you go.
We'll see you around soon. Hey, if you've got a question for us, drop it in the comments or send us a message, and we'll get around to your question about life or marriage or the Bible or whatever topic you got on your mind.
All right. That is Real Talk with Aaron and Steve here on Steve Shetler Media.